Hey folks, so we're doing another carving video this week. We're gonna take this, make a few cuts to get something kind of like this. We're even gonna paint this one. So I'll show you how to do that. And real quick, while I'm thinking about it, any ideas of what you guys want to see carved and any future carvings, throw them in the comments below and let me know what you think. Let's get into the cutting. Hey, while I'm thinking about it, so did you guys know that you can support me for not spending a cent by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing my videos? Doesn't cost you a cent. Helps the algorithm see me a whole lot more, and it's totally free for you. It just takes 3 clicks. Just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks. Bye. Okay, so I just did this entire bit. Forgot to hit record. So this is one I prepared previously. Since I already marked everything out, I'm just going to shadow it here real quick. So all you do, figure out however high you want it. I like about 3/4 of an inch for these size blocks. Straight line. And I usually do about 1/8 to 3/16 of an inch for the log thickness. So you just mark that at 3/16, mark that at 3/16, and the way I'll do it is I'll line up with one, boom, I'll come out a little bit, take it across, mark that, mark there, flip it around, mark, mark. And I'll do that to all 4 sides. You want all of your logs to be facing the same direction. Once you get this, then you just figure out which way you want your long one and which one you want your short. Doesn't matter which side, how you do it, but you just want that corner to meet that corner to that corner, same there. But make sure you remember to stop and don't go through your long board there. I'm sorry, your long log. So that's the quick and dirty of it. I'm not too sad about having to redo this because I did make a few mistakes on the last one. So the easiest way I've found to start is do a stop cut around the top of the logs or the base of where your flames are going to be. And then once you get your stop cut in, just take a little bit out, start working your way around, because eventually you're going to want this to be fairly round. And again, don't worry about don't try to get the whole cut done in one. Take tiny little cuts. If your blade's sharp enough and thin enough, you can also push and rotate it around a little bit just to give it a little bit more of a textured look. And that still looks fairly square there, which I really don't want, so I'm just gonna take this out. And we are going to use a little bit of time lapse on this because once I get done with one of these sides, I'm going to show you the whole process on one, time lapse the other 3, and then we'll come back and I'll show you to do a little bit of the detail work and stuff like that. There. When you're doing this, you do want a nice sharp, freshly stropped knife as well. it will make your life so much easier. Because this one feels like it needs a little bit of stonework and then a little more strop. So we're gonna try a different blade and see if this will make life a little bit easier. So doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm gonna do this one. You want to push straight in line with your cut or with your log there. Do the same on this side. And once I line up, I'm just using my thumb to push in there. Make sure you keep your fingers back. If you're relatively new to carving, make sure you don't do it like I do in the videos. Wear a glove. I tend to wear gloves when I'm not recording for the simple fact that it does increase safety, but when you're wearing a gray glove with a gray blade, it makes it harder for you guys to see, which is why I don't when I'm recording. All right. And then just to finish off this side, we're going to come over to this side of it. And we're just gonna pop it apart there. You get a nice little three-dimensional look there. Just what we're going for. I am gonna clean this up later when I have a different blade. Because before I go to the time lapse, I'm gonna strap up the one I really want to use. Actually, the two that I really want to use, because I have two of the same sitting here next to me and they're both having issues. So, but I'm making do with what I got for the moment, so we're just gonna Alright, so we got that. Now we're gonna go into this, cut that, cut this. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm not gonna worry about this bottom part quite yet. So I'm gonna knock the rest of this out and we'll probably do a little bit more shaping on the fire itself up top. Yeah, I really don't like the way that knife cuts. But we're just gonna make it look a little more cone shaped. That way we can, or more of it, taper, that's the word I'm looking for. I want it more tapered. There is a reason I'm doing this too. I think it makes it a little easier to hold on to, especially once you get it down a little bit and you can get rid of all these sharp edges. At least round them off a little bit, because I find it sits in my hand a little bit better. And with this, again, you don't have to have the flame super straight. It doesn't have to be perfect because fire's not symmetrical. And when we're done, we want it to look like it is in fact on fire. So I'm gonna pop this into a time lapse after I strap this blade up and this blade up, and we might even bust out a little Werther action, but that's TBD. So I'll be back in a few. All right, and we're backed out for the video thingy. Sorry, I'm got a lot going on. My head's not quite with it all the way. So we got everything cut back fairly well. I'm gonna paint the inside of that so it looks like it's just hot coals, fire, something. And now we're just gonna start knocking off bits and pieces as we can. We're gonna put a little bit of a curl in this flame. So there's that. All right. So now we got this. Looks a little overexposed. Whoa, wrong button. All right. So once we get there, you know, we want to try to get any real, any majorly sharp edges or points. I'm gonna try to work off. Ouch. Come on. All right, here's that. All right. So we got that. I need to grab something else and then I'll be right back. All right, I can't find my palm gouge, so we're just gonna live with a scorp knife. So for this, we're just gonna take a couple. You don't need a lot with doing this. You just want a little bit of texture on them. So we'll just take that. Just enough to give it a little bit of texture. Camera's not picking it up too well, but it's really there. Ouch. And this is one of those where less is more when it comes to adding details. I do want to get one more in there. All right. So we got all that. Now we move on to paint. I got to get some milk paint mixed up, and then we're gonna get into that next. Paint. Because I don't think I said it out loud the first time. All right, and we're back with the paints. If you guys have not seen how I do the painting yet, yeah, I got a whole video on how to mix up milk paint. I forget the exact title of it. I have been playing around changing stuff, so anyway, for the wood, we're just gonna throw this on. Saying this is a water-based paint, it dries really quick, it absorbs even faster. So we're just gonna Alright, so this color is driftwood while I'm realizing I'm sitting here and not talking. So it's kind of a grayish brown. I was debating between this and chocolate. I wanted to see how this looked after it was dried and oiled, which the oiled will be on the thumbnail. Dried will probably be in the intro if you watched that and didn't fast forward through it. And when I oil them, it's just a little bit of walnut oil that I put on with a paper towel. All right, so that looks fairly good. I want to touch this up a little bit. All right, then when I'm done with these, I just throw them in a glass of water. So while this one's drying, just gonna slide that out of the way. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So the way I'm thinking about doing this, orange and red towards the bottom, yellow be up towards the top because that's usually where it gets a little bit lighter. And while this dries, I'm just gonna take a break here. All right, it's still a little dry, or it's still a little wet, but it's mostly dried up. So we're gonna get a nice red base to it. And the best part about doing this, it doesn't have to be anywhere near perfect. My goal is to not leave any unpainted wood exposed though, so. But with this lighter wood, it does give the illusion of a little bit of different colors in it, so I'm gonna all right, so that'll be the red. We're just gonna, again, I'm not going for perfection with the different colors because I'm trying to make it look as realistic as possible without anything overly bright. All right, and then we're just gonna do the rest with the mustard yellow. All right, and there will be a little bit of overlapping colors. I'm thinking I'm gonna try some different paint, although that looks a lot better in the camera than it does in person. All right, so with that, I'm gonna throw these in there. I think I'm gonna try some different paints for this one. But yeah, I'm not sad with how it came out. All right, folks, so that's how we ended up looking. I really want to see this in the sun before I judge it, but I'm actually not too sad about how it came out. So that's how you take a boring old block and make a little mini campfire. If you guys like this, I've got a few more ideas coming up, and as always, throw your comments, suggestions below, and I'm probably gonna try them because at this point I'm trying anything because it's been really fun. So with that, I will say cat in the hat, that be that. See y'all later.